I'm with the Gonzalez Recovery Residences. We've been at it, I guess, since December 15th, 1990. I started in D.C. I had a really hard time getting sober. My family makes wine. You know, we've been making, my first last name's been making wine since 1835. So I just couldn't picture gracious living, you know, without having a brandy for breakfast and, you know, whatever right before going to bed and keeping the day, you know, full in between. My drinking was fabulous during many, many years, and it became totally ingrained in my being. So getting sober, basically getting abstinent, was just incredibly difficult, let alone, you know, getting sober. I think what Leah was mentioning yesterday, that Dan has talked about a number of conferences back, it's just recovery flew in the face of everything that I had ever learned. And I thought what I had learned was accurate because I hadn't just learned it here in the States, I learned it in Spain and England and France and Switzerland. Because I'm a Cuban refugee, you know, basically been living wherever before we get kicked out. And you know, the message I got was very clear and unambiguous from all these different countries, and then recovery just was like Chinese. So it was really difficult for me. Didn't want to go to AA. I thought, you know, that's just for New England. I remember bumping into AA in New England, and I thought basements, and I was in Florida, and I thought, well, no AA in Florida. I ended up finding that Florida recovery is alive and well. And I ended up finding that the people in recovery is just, it's my people. It's where I belong, especially in English. You know, I've found, at least in Spain, AA is, it's really exciting to go there, and I think there's a lot to do there, but it's still, it's maybe the recovery, you know, when I started getting sober, it was like, hey, when you don't feel well, have some sugar. That's still a little bit the mentality there. You know, I think we've really come a long way here in the States. And at the meetings in English, I feel very comfortable. And I love to go to a lot of meetings in Spanish, but it's like if somebody were to be telling me that, you know, Gorski material, it flies in the face of AA. So it's a little bit that kind of thing. But in any event, all this is sort of a quick backdrop. My dilemma, it just, going to AA was not enough. You know, I did 270 meetings in 90 days twice. I relapsed, and my relapses were very profound. I ended up in my favorite area of Spain because I thought it was an American dilemma, my alcoholism. I really did. I thought, you know, the American stress, going to college, law school here. And I ended up in my favorite place in Spain with my friends out there partying till 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was just in serious, serious trouble. I was suicidal. Fortunately, I ended up coming back, went to treatment. And I went to treatment, it was my month off. I came back from Spain, went to treatment, and I heard exactly what I needed. That's what I needed. You know, I needed to find out that when I feel well, sugar is just exactly what I don't need. When I'm feeling badly, or when, you know, just, I'm very, very hypoglycemic. I'm very sensitive. Everything I hear in these rooms, and then some. And see, basically, what we really do is the then some. I wanted to help Father Martin carry his bags. He had a place here in Vero Beach, and that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to help Father Martin raise money. I'm a tax attorney. And basically, and I hated AA when I met him, but I thought he was a really cool guy, and we used to hang out down here. And I went to treatment up in Maryland thinking I was going to go see him like I went to see him at his apartment here. And first thing I knew, I was getting frisked and you know, put into treatment, and my computer was getting confiscated, and I just wondered what happened to my Bill of Rights. But anyway, that's what helped me. Everything I heard there helped me, and basically I ended up spending about a year and a half at the shelter for the homeless in Alexandria, Virginia, because that's what I needed. I'm a firm believer in long term, and I know that what's so exciting for me in 16 years or 16 conferences, now I'm hearing long term. You know, see, for me, I've never been driven by insurance. It's just, I can't afford it. I didn't start this from a business perspective. I started it, my ex-wife left me. She was my drinking buddy. She's never stopped. I tried to start something that would attract her, and sure enough, I couldn't help her. But I was trying to come up with a place where one could, how can we make recovery attractive? And that's what the GRR's goal is, after the miracle that all you guys do. The therapy we're doing is life therapy. And sometimes I tell people, hey, we're not doing therapy. And a lot of people say, hey, you really are doing therapy, because we're dealing with people that once they're stabilized, and once they're coming out of 30 days, 60 days, I have some people that come to us after 9 months. What we're really trying to do, now we have a number of homes. We have from ultra nice to nice. And we've done 8 houses, well, 7 houses in between, 9 houses total. This hotel is project number 10. So we're trying to accommodate people wherever they are, taking money off the table, but having it in the center of the room. Because the whole goal is to get somebody function. I find that AA for me is my lifeline, but in and of itself, it doesn't cut it. It's like doing this hotel. If I wanted something to stand, water's great, sand's great, cement's great, but you got to put the 3 together and spend a little bit of time, and then you got something that holds. I find that just therapy, just 12-step work, is not sufficient. The people that I'm trying to work with is I don't know if some of you probably remember Brad, the gentleman that was here a couple times ago. He'd been to 77 treatment centers. He'd been to a number of your places. He'd been to 32 of the ones that were here. And now, he just picked up a year. He's been in treatment for 17 years. Right? And 77 years is not an exact. I was mentioning it yesterday, and it is incredible. But here this gentleman is doing terrific today. He's picked up his 1-year chip, and he's starting to work. He's had all the training. He went to the Cordon Bleu school, and ultimately we're starting him and that's what we're trying to do. Everything in this hotel is run by people in recovery. Not just me, but the head of the resort is in recovery. Tiffany, the lady that took our pictures today, she's an LCSW. And she's here, and we're going to try and get her to qualify somehow, but we haven't found out what 12-step program she can qualify for yet.
Al-Anon.
Well, there you go. And Al-Anon for sure. But I always like to see if we could get her to get into some, more. Find out what's wrong with her. Yeah. But. And we end up having a couple LCSWs working here. One of our bartenders is an LCSW, because one of the things that we have is we have a hospitality track for people that owns hotels and restaurants that are in the wine business. One of our homes came from the Bush Brewery. It's just my family. It's just, I have 16 family members today that are sober. I mean, it's, and ultimately for me, booze is fantastic. I like it very much, but I just can't have it in me. As long as it's not in me, I'm fine. And ultimately, trying to get somebody, what we try and do is immerse somebody in AA. And basically what we do is pretty much the same everybody does. When somebody comes to us, we immerse them, and we immerse them with a buddy, with a staff buddy, so that they're immersed to what we understand. Somebody was asking me yesterday, well, hey, when is somebody ready to go to work? Well, I would say anybody in this room would be ready to go to work and is working today. It's evident. But when it's palpable to one of us that, hey, this person's not connected, if somebody can't go to an AA meeting and invite somebody for a cup of coffee right there, and they say, oh, nobody wants to have coffee with me, say, no worries. You got to go to more meetings. For us, somebody's ready to work when they can invite 3 people, if they're heterosexual, 3 men or 3 women, to dinner every week. If you can't do that, you can't go to work. So we start off, with 13 meetings a week. That way people are connected morning and night. Once somebody's very connected, they go out and they get a job like Brad. Brad's been out, he's gotten connected, doing terrific, gone out, gotten a job, and he doesn't like his job. He comes from a very prominent family. I guess his, what he imagined was going to be a very, fancy job. So, there was a disconnect there. Now he's been suiting up, showing up without dropping his obligations, and now he's getting tapped by my staff, by our chef that cooked all our meals, who's in recovery, to come work in the kitchen. And maybe, trying to find him something with Jessica, the restaurant manager, who's also in recovery. So how do we buddy him into what he loves to do in a way that is constructive and he starts feeling terrific? Because what I've certainly found is for people that really, we're dealing with people, we're not dealing with a recalcitrant or the Alina Lodge client. And, I'm one of those too, that when I was in treatment, Alina Lodge, helped me get sober, and I've spent the night there, and it's magnificent. But when I was trying to get sober, it was scary, right? That's not the kind of client we're dealing with. We're dealing with people that really want to get better, that have tried any number of things, and it's just, what they just need is what we're doing. What we're doing is basically what I got through a non-institutional setting. I ended up having somebody, like John says, bouncing the patient from one person to another. I had 3 people taking me by the hand, and they wouldn't leave me alone for a long time. That's what I needed. That's what we do. We do that through their recovery program, basically immersing them in AA. Then they start venturing out, and if they venture out and they find a job that they love, hallelujah. We ended up getting this hotel because a number of us were not happy with what was out there. We got it, and basically, and one of the reasons, usually, John and I would go at the end. A number of you have been asking questions about the hotel. If you want a little tour as to what 17 of us got, what the hotel looked like. Some of you remember it. Because I remember when I wanted to cancel the conference one year after the hurricanes, and I had not understood the degree of John's sadism when he said, "Look, we're coming whether you like it or not." Because even at the plantation, I had 4 properties that were totaled. And got to be careful what you pray for. I had bought this hotel in August of '04 and prayed for some help. And I got it. And I continued praying, and then I had the second hurricane, which knocked the power out for 2.5 years. But it was great. It got a number of us to do, basically this room. The structure was there, but we put every little bit of bamboo, and we brought that from Thailand. And after I had put all the plants in, it was the last year of the Dodgers year, we found out that the bamboo, I'd never bought bamboo in Thailand. I thought everything from Thailand, you smoked it. And basically got this bamboo, and nothing that I ever smoked that I have to worry about bamboo beetles. But with this bamboo, we had bamboo beetles, and after all our plants were up, we had a tent, the whole place. So, well, it was really fantastic. It's all been tremendous, because it's been, I think, what life is. And for us, none of us used. None of us got, drunk, and a number of us are still doing, what we enjoy today, which I think is what our program is how do we, what I've been trying to do is get different houses going, different levels. When Conway Hunter, after we did the plantation, Conway, just a magnificent gentleman that some of you know, we were talking, saying, "Oh yeah, Boris, you just threw a lot of money at this house." Then we came up with the idea for the cottages, a little house on US 1, which is adorable, all out of wood. So you figure, my gosh, how easy to fix. Right, so we got it in the second year. We introduced it at the conference, and it's a cute little house, warm and cozy. And we had the chairman of, the Harbor Board of Trustees at the plantation. He was having a hard time because it was feeding into his narcissism, and he ended up ultimately getting sober in that little house. So, basically, what we do is whatever you guys need. Individually, we have a house in Virginia, which is great for people that want to live, in a large market. It's something like a hero house. We do have students. We mix ages. We don't have all young. We like to make them families of destination. So we don't have all young adults. We find it's better for us to mix, the clients. Our houses are all gender specific, unless people have been sober over a year. I'm a big believer in people before they leave us. I think our program's a 3-year program. If somebody comes to us 3 years, it's free. So when people are talking about money, I don't know about insurance, it all sounds very confusing. And my God, I've gotten away from the legal profession, because as long as I can wear flip-flops and I don't have to do a lot of paperwork, and here I'm getting right back into the paperwork, right? You guys do a great job with paperwork. We're trying to figure out a different way. If somebody spends 3 years with us, they'll walk out with sobriety and the balance, and then if they want, they can, like here, this hotel, I end up coming here, I have dinner, and I get in trouble because I'm not doing it the right way, because people are doing things the right way now, right? And basically it's been taken over. This place sort of runs, and I get, asked, to plant a plant or do something, right? The same thing at the houses, I like to take people antiquing, to buy broken things and fix them. See, that's the therapy we do, and the funny thing is, you guys, when people are leaving your places, I wanted to start as an upscale Oxford house, no structure with a bunch of professionals. We're not getting that. We're getting people that need, like we have a house right now for older adults. We have older adults that have been with us for over a year, and they're just starting to get it. So we're just very much in the long-term, individualized, and then trying to get people functional, whatever. If you're going to be, just retired and not working, let's get one to practice that. How do we date? Well, I guess finance and romance, those are the two challenges. One's how can we get people functional? And ultimately, my goal was the little house on US 1 before doing this hotel was to build a little village where people could be working downstairs, living upstairs, once they can pay their bills on their own. I don't care who your parents are. Then, hey, maybe you're ready to go out and live. And that's what we're trying to do now. And it seems to be working, and people appreciate it. And then, then the whole mom and other people is just none of anybody's business. So anyway, delighted to have you all here, and if any of you want any tours, we're happy to give you. Fred, I think, was ready to give some tours for the houses, and some people asked about the hotel. I'm happy to show you some pictures, because it always gets me to realize that maybe we did get something done, because I forget what in the world we're doing.
Questions? Yeah.
This is kind of for everybody, I think. Some of us know, but give us a little bit of idea on cost here. I know it really fluctuates.
It really does.
You have a monstrous heart, but give us a database so we know what to do to call you.
No, well, and not monstrous heart. I really love the seventh tradition, and we're not AA, but I really like to see how, we, everything we do is self-supporting. Our prices range from $5,000 a month on up. And the higher up you go, the better deal it is. It might sound crazy, but we've had people paying $50,000 a month. Why? Because, we end up having to pay for their ponies. We have to pay for, somebody doesn't want this person to have a check. All right, so our base cost really is $5,000 a month. And, so that would be and what I mentioned, maybe to clarify, when I said 3 years would be free for somebody that has a financial issue, with us 1 year would be $60,000. That's a lot of money. Second year, if they're doing well consecutively, and we're not asking this person to be stellar. I lived in a house for 15 years and I'm starting to get it. So, we're not asking for somebody to be a quick study, but just somebody that is just doing well, trying hard, right? That person can stay second year, no extra charge. They go to work, they